What you're about to hear is not just a conversation about social media, it's a warning. Because right now, something is happening to millions of people across the world, and most of them don't even realize it. They're losing their focus, they're losing their patience, they're losing their ability to think deeply, and they're slowly becoming addicted to a system that was designed to keep them trapped. This episode comes from The Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett, and the title says it all. Brain Rot Emergency. These internal documents prove they're controlling you. And once you hear what's inside these internal documents, you'll understand why this isn't just a screen time problem. This is psychological warfare disguised as entertainment. Stephen Bartlett opens the episode with a serious warning. He says something that hits hard because it's true. We are living through an attention crisis. And it's not happening by accident. Stephen explains how the average person now spends hours per day scrolling through TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. And what looks like harmless fun is actually a system engineered to hijack the human brain. Then the guests come in, including social psychologist Jonathan Haidt and physician Dr. Aditi Nerurkar. And they start breaking down what's really going on under the surface. And the scary part is, the companies already know. They've known for years. Jonathan Haidt explains that social media isn't just a platform. It's a machine built around one goal. Keep you engaged, keep you hooked, keep you scrolling. And he explains the real reason why short-form content is so dangerous. It's not just because it wastes time, but it's because it rewires your brain. He says the modern phone is like carrying around a slot machine in your pocket. And the endless scrolling isn't random. It's a reward system. You scroll, you get something interesting. You scroll again, maybe you get something even better. And that unpredictability is what makes it addictive. It's the same psychological pattern used in casinos. That maybe the next one will be better. Loop. And one of the most powerful quotes in the episode is when Stephen describes it perfectly. It's like we've outsourced our minds to the algorithm. Because the algorithm decides what you see. The algorithm decides what you feel. The algorithm decides what you believe. And over time, it trains you to stop thinking for yourself. Jonathan Haidt explains that the brain starts craving constant novelty, constant stimulation, constant dopamine hits. And that's why so many people now struggle to sit through a full movie, or read a book, or even finish a conversation without checking their phone. Your brain becomes addicted to fast reward cycles. And he warns that the biggest cost isn't time. It's your ability to focus, it's your ability to do deep work, it's your ability to build a meaningful life. Then Dr. Aditi Nerurkar takes it further, explaining that constant exposure to these platforms puts the nervous system into a stress loop. She explains that your brain is not designed to handle non-stop stimulation. Notifications, messages, videos, drama, arguments, news. It becomes too much. And the body responds like it's under threat. Your cortisol rises, your stress levels rise, and your sleep begins to break down. And she makes a statement that feels like it should be printed on every smartphone box. Stress is not just a feeling. Stress is a physiological state. Meaning it changes your body, it changes your brain, it changes your immune system. And what's terrifying is that we've normalized this. We've normalized waking up and immediately checking the phone. We've normalized scrolling before bed. We've normalized living in a constant state of distraction. And then comes the part of the episode that makes the title feel real. The internal documents. They talk about leaked or disclosed internal reports from major tech companies, including Meta, showing that executives were aware of the damage. They weren't ignorant. They weren't surprised. They knew their product was harming mental health. They knew it was addictive. And they kept pushing it anyway. Because engagement equals profit, and profit is worth more than your well-being. At one point, the conversation highlights how these companies essentially treat human attention as a resource to be mined, like oil, like gold, like data. And that's when Stephen drops one of the most haunting lines. You are not the customer, you are the product. That's the truth. You don't pay with money, you pay with your attention. You pay with your focus, you pay with your brain. And Jonathan Haidt explains how this is affecting children the most, because a child's brain is still developing. Their emotional regulation is still developing. Their identity is still developing. But instead of growing up in the real world, many kids are growing up inside an algorithm, and they're being trained from a young age to chase validation, likes, approval, and dopamine. He talks about how anxiety and depression have skyrocketed in younger generations, especially since smartphones became widespread, and the timeline is hard to ignore. The more connected we became, the more mentally unwell we became. Then the conversation turns to the concept of brain rot, and Stephen explains it in the simplest way possible. We are consuming so much fast content that we are losing the ability to process slow reality. People want instant answers, instant entertainment, instant emotional stimulation. And because of that, real life starts to feel boring. A conversation feels boring. A book feels boring. A quiet moment feels unbearable. And Dr. Neroka explains that this is a form of cognitive addiction. Your brain becomes dependent on constant stimulation. And without it, you feel restless, anxious, uncomfortable. And most people don't realize what's happening because they think it's just their personality. They think they're lazy. They think they lack discipline. But it's not discipline, it's design. Because these apps are engineered to exploit your psychology. And one of the key ideas repeated throughout the episode is this: the human brain is incredibly powerful. But it's also predictable. It responds to rewards. It responds to novelty. It responds to emotional triggers. And these platforms know exactly what buttons to press. They know what keeps you angry. They know what keeps you excited. They know what keeps you addicted. And that's why outrage content spreads faster than peace. That's why drama spreads faster than truth. Because the algorithm doesn't care about your happiness. The algorithm cares about your engagement. And then they discuss something even deeper: the emotional side. Stephen talks about how so many people now feel lonely, disconnected, and isolated. And the irony is that we've never been more connected in human history. But we're emotionally starving. And Jonathan Haidt explains why. He says that social media replaces real-world bonding with artificial interaction. Instead of sitting face-to-face, we react with emojis. Instead of talking, we scroll. Instead of living, we consume. And it's turning society into a place where everyone is overstimulated, underconnected, and emotionally exhausted. Then comes a really chilling conversation about AI. They explain how AI companions, chatbots, and emotionally intelligent systems could become the next level of addiction. Not just dopamine addiction, but emotional dependency. Because humans bond easily. We bond through conversation, we bond through comfort, we bond through attention. And if AI becomes better at giving people emotional support than real humans, people may stop trying to build real relationships. They may stop trying to deal with conflict. They may stop trying to grow socially. Because the AI will always be there. Always listening. Always agreeing. Always available. And that could create a world where humans slowly disconnect from each other entirely. And Stephen emphasizes how we need to wake up now, because the future is coming fast. But this episode isn't only doom and fear. They also give solutions. And the solutions are surprisingly simple, but powerful. One of the biggest suggestions is removing temptation. They mention using grayscale mode on your phone to reduce the addictive color stimulation. They talk about deleting apps that you mindlessly scroll. They talk about turning off notifications. They talk about setting boundaries like no phone in the bedroom. And they explain that the key isn't becoming anti-technology. The key is becoming intentional. Because technology should serve you. You should not serve it. And the most important part is this: your brain can heal. Neuroplasticity works both ways. The brain adapts to the environment it's placed in. So if you place it in constant stimulation, it adapts to chaos, but if you place it in stillness, it adapts to clarity. If you place it in distraction, it adapts to shallow thinking. But if you place it in focus, it adapts to deep thinking. And that's the hope. That's the escape. Because the truth is, we're not powerless. We've just been unaware, and once you see the trap, it becomes harder to stay inside it. Stephen closes the conversation with a message that feels like a final warning. If you don't protect your mind, someone else will take control of it. And that's what this whole episode is really about. This isn't just about TikTok. It's not just about Instagram. It's not just about YouTube Shorts. It's about the fact that human attention has become the most valuable currency on Earth. And the biggest companies in the world are fighting for it. They are fighting for your time. They are fighting for your dopamine. They are fighting for your focus. And if you don't fight back, you will lose your ability to think, to create, to build, and to live. So the real question becomes, are you using your phone, or is your phone using you? Because once your attention is gone, everything else follows. Your productivity, your mental health, your peace, your relationships, your future. And that is why this is not a small issue. This is a brain rot emergency. This is a war for the human mind. And the people who win will be the people who reclaim control of their attention, because attention is life. And if you give your attention away, you give your life away with it. I'm Hakeem Mamdani, and this has been Digest of All Conversations. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.